Sure.
Okay, so just go on there and so it's just preparing to live stream. Okay, and I'm disabling this quickly. Okay. Yeah, I don't know if you guys want me to, let's just, yeah. Okay, well, it's 6 o'clock. Oh, 1 minute past 6.
Yes.
So it's just preparing to live stream. Okay, sorry, I was just echoing. Okay, so I'm just going to say welcome so far to those who have joined us. Oh wait, Marisha, was this you do you want to go ahead and just do a little bit of a quick welcome, and then I'll put up our slides.
Yes, sure, Priyanka. So welcome to everybody that's here already. As part of our Accelerate Your Career series, we of course have Lesego who will be doing her talk today. And just for those of you who don't already know what the aim of our talk is, but it's really just to get various professionals to talk about their experiences in the workplace and as well as university, and to tell us about the challenges that they've faced and some of the rewards that they have experienced through their career. And really what makes this series different is that we get different professionals from geosciences and geosciences related fields, but we want our audience to be in discussion with the speaker and just be able to ask any questions and really have a good discussion about the various topics that we are covering. So thanks, Priyanka. You can tell us a little bit more about some of the upcoming talks.
Okay, yes. So before we get into our exciting talk for today, I just want to let you guys know that next week, Tuesday, we're going to have a talk by Leslie Andrews. So she's a female mineralogist who's going to share her 50 years of experience. And then we're going to have 2 weeks later, following is Yatish, who's going to tell us, he's a vice president, investor relations, and he will be sharing his journey as well. So we've got a nice mix of all these different fields. So we do hope that you guys will be joining us in these discussions and talks, and will be learning with us. Okay.
Thanks, Priyanka. And so obviously in celebration of August Women's Month, we have Lesego Queen giving us a fantastic talk and experience that she's had over some years. Lesego is a daughter, a wife, a mother to a family, and she is the only daughter with 3 siblings. She was raised by a single mother, and she is a married woman with 3 lovely kids. She is a farmer, and she loves baking and nature photography, and to keep healthy, she cycles, swims, and takes long brisk walks in nature. In the corporate world, she is a geotechnical engineer with 13 years of experience in the mining industry, and she's worked underground and in open pit operations. Her academic qualifications include a Master of Science in Rock Engineering and a Master of Business Administration. Yes, I'm still continuing a Bachelor of Science in Geology, and she's going to tell us all about it. So everybody, please give a warm welcome to Lesego Queen. Please take over. We are so much looking forward to what you have to say. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay.
Okay, great. We can see.
Yeah.
Thanks, Lesego.
Thank you. Pavija has already introduced me, but I thought I should do it again in a more exciting way. I say, I am every woman. Famous singer. I am Umandla. I am a sister to a lot of sisters. And I'm just a girl sitting here, doing my time through the walls, hoping to leave my mark on this earth. I am a lady when I have to be one. when the occasion calls for it. I am a farmer. The idea of farming and nature gives you something bigger than yourself. Every time you think that you've got the biggest problems in the world, and you look at yourself and how much bigger nature is, you realize that you don't have any problems at all. You realize the scale of your size versus a mountain close by or very far away, the scale of your size versus a tree, you realize compared to nature, you don't have issues. So be happy, stay happy. You don't have nearly the worst of life. I am a wife to my husband that I've been with for 21 years now. And I've got the best job in the world. Some group of people call me mom. I've got 2 adult kids, believe it or not. My 2 adult kids are in university now. One of them is in STEM. And I'm a woman in engineering. Geotechnical engineering is the job that I do. It's not who I am. For my journey through this mining environment, all my life, I've only worked in mines. I've been very blessed. I've never been out of a job. I got my first job when I was left with 2 papers to finish my final year. So I was very blessed in that. I had that support system and that much grace. So I'm very appreciative of it. My first job was in a company called Carbon. And this company was small. It was an up and coming company, a consulting company. We did some data collection in a mine, and it developed my love for rock engineering. I graduated as a geologist. I've never worked as a geologist because my first job was more on the geotech side, and I loved it so much that I never really managed to go back. So for this first job, you know, when you are doing the work at the time, you don't sometimes understand the value. When I was working as a graduate geotechnical engineer, I did not understand the impact of what I was doing. Later on in my career, when I started understanding geotechnical engineering as a field, I understood that the job that I was doing as a graduate helped with the extension of a mine. The mine is Jwaneng in Botswana. Jwaneng is the world's richest diamond mine by value in the whole world. And I have been a part of making sure that we sustain its life force. I moved to underground in 2009. I joined as a graduate exploration geologist. It was still exciting that it was geology stroke geotech. We were doing still exploration to extend the life of mine of an underground mine. BCL is a very old mine. It was founded in the 1960s. So it was interesting to try and keep it working from a technical point of view, and also contribution to the community, contribution to the life of people who work there. We are all Africans. A single person is responsible for between 10 and 20 people in the background. So it was humbling to be part of that. But then because I was already bitten by the geotech bug, I had to find a way of going back. So I had discussions with my then managers to say, as much as I did geology, my first job was geotech, and I think that's where my love is at. And the beauty with geology and geotech is they are Siamese twins. When you understand one, when you understand geology, your geotech is very, very interesting. The way I usually explain it in English is geology is the study of rocks. And then geotech is the study of what happens when you apply man-made things like blasting to the rocks. So you need to understand the rock before you start poking it with a blasts, cutting it in anyhow. So then I went back to Geotech in 2010 as a rock mechanics engineer, where I became the first woman in Botswana to work full-time underground. At that time, it was unheard of. But I did it. BCL, like I said, is a very old mine. It had 4 different shafts that did a whole host of mining methods that I got exposed to. I did that until 2013. And then I decided I like a challenge, and I don't like being put in a box. I didn't want to be known as an underground geotech engineer or rock engineer. I wanted it all. I love geotech engineering that much that I wanted to understand everything. So I applied and got a job at Jwaneng. When I worked for Carbon, my first company, we were consultants in Jwaneng. So later in my career life, I got to go back now as part of the core team. And remember, Jwaneng is the richest diamond mine by value in the world. In the world. When we talk bling bling diamonds, we talk Jwaneng. And I'm very proud of the company. I should have worn my necklace for the 50th anniversary of the company. They gave us necklaces with the Botswana map and a diamond. So I'm very appreciative of that. And I've stayed with Jwaneng for a while now. We've done a lot of interesting things, which you can ask and I can discuss some of them. It's been an interesting journey. The mining methods that we apply just inside the pit, some of them are unheard of everywhere else. I did so well that I made my managers proud that they sent me to Venetia on a secondment. A secondment is like an attachment to a sister mine. So I'm currently sitting in a hotel room in Botswana because I had to come back for some discussions, but I work in Venetia in South Africa on a sister mine, on a secondment, because I did so well that my managers saw an opportunity to send me to Venetia. And also because I have the underground background and Jwaneng is preparing to go underground at some point. Venetia is currently an interesting place where you've got both an open pit running and an underground mine running. So the idea of sending me to underground in Venetia is for me to go and rehash my underground skills so that when Botswana finally gets to start underground mining, it's still new in my mind. According to me, mining is one of the best showcases of human intelligence. I hope you can see the picture here. On the top is an open pit. You do realize that this started off as a flat ground. As a flat ground, below some sand, that we poked a few holes in order to determine strengths, in order to determine the way to excavate, how much at any given point, and we came up with an open pit. Vehicles, huge machines move on this thing, and we dig and we dig and we get what is important to us, which are the minerals we get out. But the bigger human intelligence showcase, according to me, is underground mining. Do you know that in underground mining, literally everything except for the rock is man-made, including the air that you breathe underground is man-made, is brought by men from surface to underground. It has to be enough for everyone underground. South Africa has some of the deepest underground mines in the world, ranging in 4.5 kilometers deep underground, and men go down there. So that's why I'm saying, according to me, the mining industry is one of the world wonders, is a showcase for human intelligence in this earth, on this earth. And just career highlights. Like I said, I'm the first woman to work underground full-time in Botswana. It was an interesting time. It was a challenging time because the industry is male populated and male dominated. Even when they do want to help, sometimes they don't know what to do to help. The problems that I get, they don't know where to start. And sometimes being African, they're even afraid to ask, how do I help? I'm also proud to say, I believe I am in the top 10% of geotechnical engineers worldwide that can work both in open pit and underground. To say on Monday, I'll go to work in an open pit mine and I'll excel. On Tuesday, I'll go to work on an underground mine and I'll excel. And this one humbles me. I have had the honor of having a one-on-one meeting with the DBS CEO, Bruce Cleaver. It was through arrangement by my leadership. And again, that's like a reward to say, we recognize you, we see you, we see that you are pulling and pushing and delivering. It's humbling to get a CEO of a worldwide country, sorry, a worldwide company to dedicate 1.5 hours of his time to me. Compared to him, I'm like the learner official in the company. And I'm also proud of this moment that we are having to say the mentoring and coaching. I like to call it reciprocal mentoring, to say as much as I'm sharing what I've experienced, I would like to hear what you think the mining industry should be like. As we go into the 4th digitalization age, and you guys are the future workforce, most of you here are the future workforce. So we want to build the mind that you are interested in coming to, not whereby you study and then you choose to go work in a bank. I'll show you some statistics later, and you realize that, especially when it comes to mining, we need you women to come to mining. But the only way we're gonna excite you to come to mining is, one, tell you the reality of mining in a way that I hope I'm exciting you. At the same time, get your viewpoint of, with your understanding of the digital age and technology out there, how do you want to view mining? What is your dream view of a mine that you'd like to work at? Okay. These are my everyday success quotes and principles. These have carried me through. These continue to carry me through. It's possible. Whatever you think of, whatever you think you want to achieve, it's possible. But here is the tricky thing. Whether you think you can do it or you think you can't do it, it's true. Because you realize or you achieve what you focus on. If your focus is, I'm gonna get it, then you're gonna get it. If your focus is, this thing is so hard, all you're gonna see are the obstacles. And then my all-time favorite, I am enough. I hope you can see. I am enough. This idea that there's something bigger out there that you still need to achieve in order to be a complete person makes us feel so deficient, and we don't come into our power so much that we deprive the world of who we are. I am Lesego. I am enough. There's no other Lesego like me. There's no one else out there. And I am the gift to this world. And when I know that I am enough, I am Lesego enough, And therefore, I can fully give myself out and recognize what I was put on this earth for. The only way to do that is to know that I am enough. And by the way, I'm not negotiating my value. I'm worth it. I have been worth it, and I'll be forever worth it. And whilst you are there, just know the world owes you nothing. This idea that I grew up suffering, my parents didn't do that, my teacher, the work environment, no one owes you nothing. The world doesn't owe you. Your life is on the palm of your hand. Your life depends on the decisions you make every minute. What is your target for the end of the year? What are you doing to make sure that you get closer to getting that target, to achieving that target? The world owes you nothing, especially at our age. When you are younger, because you are staying under someone's roof, maybe you can give yourself an excuse. But at this state in your life, the world owes you nothing. Everything that happens in your life is your fault. The blessings and the non-status are all on you. But remember, no man is an island. But it's up to you. If you want to go fast, you can go alone. But if you want to go far, you need to go together. There are usually two groups of people. There are those who operate on the scarcity principle, and others operate on an abundance principle. The scarcity principle people are the ones that believe there is not enough of resources or whatever you are looking at for all of us. Therefore, they are the pull me downs, you know, someone who wants to pull everyone down. When they are up here, they want to make sure everyone stays down because they think if someone comes up, then something is going to be taken out of them. I've been taught that teacher learns best. Teacher learns best. Teacher learns most. You know, the only way for me to know that I know is for me to teach. By me teaching you, it doesn't take anything away from me. But by me teaching you, it helps me refine my art. So I am in the group of the abundance principle. There is enough of everything to go around. And the more we realize that, the more we go far together, because we are a team, you know. And the only way to go far, you have to keep at it. Small, seemingly non-consequential steps will result in will give genius results. An average guy will beat a genius any day because they keep at it. Keep showing up. Show up. The idea that I'm tired, is not working, is whatever excuse you are giving up yourself, that is you giving up. Show up. Keep showing up. Whatever else is happening in the world, remember, you don't have the worst of problems in this world. Back to my photography and nature view. If you look at yourself against the mountain, you are a speck. Therefore, there's no way you can carry the problems of the world on your shoulders. And these are my happily ever after principles. Please go find this book and read it by Miguel. They're called the 4 agreements. I'm not going to go through the whole text because it's after 6. But I'll just tell you the agreements. They're called the 4 agreements. The first agreement with yourself is be impeccable with your word. Only speak the truth. Speak blessings upon yourself. Don't use the word to gossip, to say bad about other people. Don't take anything personally. What others think of you or say about you has nothing to do with you, and you've got zero control on it. What others say about you, say everything about them and nothing about you. So don't take it personal. It has nothing to do with you. And most of the time you realize when you get upset, when I say something and you get upset, you are not really upset about what I said or how I said. You are upset of the way you interpreted it. Your interpretation are based on your upbringing, your history, and all those. So what you think has nothing to do with me. The version of me in your head has nothing to do with me. So I don't take anything personally. Don't make assumptions. If you think I meant something, ask me, because the assumptions are gonna hurt so bad. Better ask, get clarity. Even if what I meant, what you think I meant is exactly what I meant and it hurts. Actually, it should not hurt. Remember, don't take anything personally. It has nothing to do with you and everything to do with me who said it. And always do your best. Your best varies depending on which side of the bed you woke up, on the physical capability of the day. But when you do your best, you never fail. It's either you excel or you learn. You never feel like a failure. And this one is for the women. We need to secure our future in this mining industry. I got this, that's from all over. Look at this. There are on average 0.19% of women at board member positions. 0.19. But we say we want workplace parity. We are still at 0.19. On average, in South Africa and Southern Africa, the mining workforce is only 12% women, and it increases by 1% a year on average. The problem is deeper than that. When you go to your maths and science, the STEM subjects that will end up leading us into the mining courses, there is a serious underrepresentation of women. So as much as there is a mirage of issues that we can cry about within the current mining state, my view is let's clean house first. If the representation of STEM students, male to female, is 50-50, actually it must be 60-40. Almost in all countries, women to men is 1:3 most of the time. So why not have more women in the STEM subjects, because they have got a higher population? Then we can come back and fix this. It's a democratic process, right? The only way to change it is through numbers. In order for us to be policy makers, we need that statistical representation. In order for us to get that workplace parity in any part of workplace that you can think of, we need the numbers. Sometimes our brothers want to help, but like I'm saying, they don't even know where to start. They don't even know where to start. Imagine there's 0.29% executive women, and we sit in a boardroom. They sit in a boardroom where we have to talk about the maternity leave. There's no man who's been in maternity, irrespective of how much he is supportive, doesn't go on maternity. Irrespective of how learned he is, including the one who is a doctor or a gynecologist, doesn't go on to maternity. The only way that we're gonna make them favorable, not unfairly favorable, but just, is us by being there. And in order for us to be there, we need to start building the base right. So to all the ladies in here who are doing geosciences, please don't find alternative jobs. Come to the mining industry. We need you. But in order for you to go through this, you need a mentor. You need a sponsor. I don't care what you call that person, but you need that person who speaks on your behalf behind closed doors. No man is an island. We cannot all be trailblazers. If you want to trailblaze everything, you don't have enough years of life to get to where you want to go. You need help. The superwoman is the one who knows when to ask for help. The intelligent person is the one who knows where to go for the answers, not necessarily who knows the answers in their heads. I don't know my code of practice by head, but I have an idea of the topics. Therefore, I know which part of the whole thing to open to look for that number that I need. To look for the strength of the support unit that I need to use, I know where to check for it. Over and above mentoring, a mentor is like a mentor is like someone who holds you accountable. It's an accountability partner. They will not do anything for you. All they do is listen to what your ideas are, sometimes guide you in terms of reality and challenges that you could face, but it's more a responsibility partner. You are responsible for your own self. Develop yourself. As you enter into the industry, I wish when I entered the industry 13 years ago, someone should have taught me emotional intelligence. I would be the CEO already. So as you join the mining industry, I'm assuming you are all joining the mining industry. As you join the mining industry, go learn, read up everything that you need to do about emotional intelligence, understand it, and execute it. But above all else, know yourself, have that self-awareness, have self-regard, be the best version of yourself. Then us out here are gonna get the best version of you too, Priyanka. But the only way to do that is networking. To achieve everything else, you need to network. It doesn't matter if you graduate cum laude and no one knows. You can stay home with that distinction because no one knows. But everything else is underpinned by continuous learning. By the way, this is a picture of my books that I've read this year. So if you think you've been reading for your school stuff, yay. For most of you, the first degree. First degree is good in that, number one, you are at varsity. There are people from all walks of life. Therefore, it gives you, for most people, it gives you that diversity for the first time in your life. All your life, you are staying with your parents in a community. And first degree says you are amenable to learning. It does not say you are a guru in anything. It says now the learning can start. So that is my share for the day. I try to stay away from technical things unless there are people here who would like me to go into certain topics or any other particular technical discussions that I will somehow have to translate to English. Thank you.
Thank you, Lesego. Just hearing even your presentation and just hearing what you have to say was so inspiring. And I loved the many quotes you shared. And I mean, even when you said, you know, do your best and you'll never, you can either excel or you learn and you never fail. I felt that was such a powerful viewpoint that you shared, and I love it so much. And people in the chat as well, we've got people saying they love your proverbs, that they're proud of you and they're proud of what you're doing, as well as yeah, that a lot of people are agreeing that that gap that you mentioned is quite big as well. And yeah, so we do have some questions for you that we're going to ask, that we've collected over social media, as well as we've gotten for this talk. And so the BTG team and I will be doing that. And yeah, I think it's pretty good. Thank you so much so far. So many people are so inspired by what you've said this evening.
Thank you.
So Bhavisha, I think you have one of the questions for us.
Yes, just want to say thank you to Lesego for one-of-a-kind talks that we've had so far. Thank you so much, so inspiring. The first question that I have is from one of our social media platforms. Someone is asking, well, how did you deal with the stress that comes with the uncertainty of the future, especially after graduating? Yeah, I think you said that you had a job before you even finished your exams. So maybe you can tell us how you think someone could deal with the stress, because I think it is a huge stress for a lot of people, not knowing where they will go after they graduate.
Let me answer in a roundabout way. I like quotes. Worry is a total waste of time. It absorbs your time and your energy, and you achieve nothing in the process. You don't have control on the work market, but the control of making sure that you are ready when an opportunity presents itself is on the palm of your hand. The only thing is keep getting ready. The ladies that I mentor, we usually talk about the elevator pitch. Instead of worrying about what if I don't get a job, if you met the CEO, like I did get a chance with the CEO, do you have your speech ready in 2 minutes to tell him or her why they should hire you on the spot? So I think it's an issue of focus. You don't have control over the job market, and worrying about it is not going to change that fact. But there are things that you can do to better position yourself. Prepare your elevator pitch. Go out there and do what is within your control. And if nothing works, you keep trying. Remember, keep showing up. If showing up means changing directions, it's still showing up.
I think that's a good point that you've mentioned, Lesego. It's kind of bringing, be that proactive person instead of saying, instead of sitting back and just waiting for things to change. Rather, you put yourself out there. And like you said, network, put yourself out there and try to make, let the world know more about you and what you're capable of. And remember that you are enough.
Yes.
Definitely. No, I think that's some good points that you've raised there. And this is a question that I wanted to ask. So how, you've told us and it's inspiring. You are you're a daughter, you're a mother, you're a wife, you're a farmer, and how I know that your job brings a bit of the traveling aspect in it. And how has it been, balancing all these different roles and, doing all of these? How has it been? How have you been finding it? And can you tell us more about that?
Like I said, I'm currently sitting in South Africa. My husband works in Botswana. My 2 older kids are now in varsity. My younger son is in South Africa with me. It's not an easy balance, but at the same time, it's an exciting balance because we had a discussion before I agreed to go into South Africa. So we had a discussion as a family and decided how we're going to do all this. And most of you are in varsity. My kids in varsity think I'm too much of trouble, so they don't need me as much. Embarrassing. So mostly I want to see my husband and I have to balance with my son, my youngest son. It's not an easy balance, it's a delicate balance, but we keep it going. Worrying about it is not going to change right now. And also the long-term objective of it all. It has made me to be in the top 10 geotech engineers that can work both in open pit and underground. Is it worth the trouble? Yes.
No, I think that's fantastic. I mean, yeah, I guess it's all worth it at the end. And as long as you can, have the plans in place and you can make it work. I think as long as you put your mind to it, then anything is possible. Right?
Yes. Yay, I'm liking that you keep quoting.
You've definitely, like, all the quotes and the inspiration. I was like, yes, we need this. It just like energized me this evening. And then I think, Brian, you have your hand up. Do you have a question for Lesego?
Yes, Priyanka, I do have a question.
Okay, sure. The floor is yours.
Okay, thank you, Lesego, for putting up this very informative, thought-provoking, very interesting presentation. I have three silly questions for you.
Questions?
I do understand that this role that you're playing as a geotechnical engineer is really a big responsibility, because it's like you are holding people's lives in your hands. So I would want to know, how do you take this role? Do you take it lightly? How are you taking this responsibility? And then the second question is, I do understand that as a rock engineer, you sometimes go underground to do your routine daily inspections. Perhaps nowadays you're no longer doing daily routine inspections as you would do in your early stages of your career development. What has been the difficult decision that you have made when you were executing your duties? And the last question is, have you ever made a recommendation? Perhaps maybe it's a support-related recommendation underground, and maybe that recommendation didn't give you the results that you're expecting. And how did you solve that problem? Yeah, those are my silly questions for you. Thank you.
Brian, am I have you?
No, you're not.
Brian asked me 3 interview questions. Okay. I love rock engineering. So I take the job very seriously. Like you say, any decision is almost life and death decision. But the beauty of sciences is data. Almost all decisions are data-based. You need data and some kind of analysis to arrive at an answer. So it's never just out of my head. There is a process to it. There's a guiding process for everywhere that makes sure that almost all of us will arrive at the same answer if we are faced with the same problem. So that's the beauty of it. It has a layout. It has a guideline. There's this code of practice as an example. There are all kinds of textbooks on how to solve a certain scenario or problem. So yes, I take it seriously and I make use of all those tools that are available to me. I'm trying to remember the second question. It was about me going underground and then what?
Making a difficult decision. What has been the difficult decision that you have made so far?
Because I work in diamond mines and we sign non-disclosures, I can't explicitly explain a problem. I work for Anglo. Anglo is publicly listed. Anything I say can be used against the company. But I'll say, yes, in any place or in life in general, we do make decisions that we tend to regret. But like I've said, I am still in the process of learning to say, instead of regretting, I learn from it. Generally, with underground mines, you get an opportunity to fix. If I had recommended less than adequate support, I can request them to beef up and increase the number of support units, because with underground mining, I need to look at a place and then make a decision standing up, which doesn't give me enough time to do my data analysis, because I can't always pull people away from working. So it's like doing a temporary fix, but you still have the opportunity to go back and complete the fix. I don't know if that helps.
Yes, you answered the question.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Lesego. Another question that we have from social media is, are there any opportunities for geology graduates with no honors degree in the mining industry?
Unfortunately, I'm not the best person to answer that question. I'm from Botswana. I'm seconded to Venetia. In Botswana, we don't do honors because we do our final year project within the degree. So I'm not the best person to answer that question, because I don't quite understand the differentiation between the bachelor's degree and the honors degree.
Okay, thank you. Do you think that we need to further our education to get a job, or should we try and get a job and then try to get more experience as opposed to another degree?
For me, it's always an issue of opportunity. What opportunity do you have right now? Both sides works. If I did my MSc with VETS, because I was working, I was able to do a real life problem at my mine and apply it to academics and solve it. But if you're not getting a job, are you going to sit home because you still want to get the experience? You can still finish your theories and then go to the mine and apply them. So there is no wrong or right order to it. It's an issue of what opportunity do you have.
Thank you. And follow up to that question is, do you believe that there's something as being overqualified?
I think that's the view of the individual. If you think a job is below you, then it's on you. You always learn. I learn from my learner officials. I learn from you guys. So I'm not sure what overqualified in what way. You never know enough. We are constant students all our lives.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Lesego. I am really inspired. And thank you for reminding me that I'm a gift and I fulfill my purpose while I'm still alive. I just have one question for you. Okay, what advice would you give to aspiring females who who are about to enter the industry and would like to pursue MBA in the future? Thank you.
Please repeat your question.
What advice would you give to aspiring females who are about to enter the industry and would like to pursue MBA in the future?
You know my answer, right? It's possible and you are enough. Whatever you think you can do, you can. Whatever you think you can't do, you can't. It's all up to you. What you think you can do, you are right. And what you think you can't do, you are right.
Thank you.
And then, so Lesego, someone asked in our chat, we got Zekle asking, what were some of the challenges you experienced during your diversification into geotechnical engineering, considering that you did geology and have your master's in that stream now?
It was a new subject. But like I said, your first degree says you are amenable to learning. Therefore, I took the reins on and learned. I'm still learning. I'm still doing the rock engineering tickets of South Africa. I've got a master's degree in rock engineering and I'm still doing rock engineering tickets. But I don't think the diversification from geology to geotech brought me a challenge. It actually gave me an advantage. I understood the rock. I understood the processes of rock deposition and deformation. Therefore, when I come and say this can only be stable at this point, I already understand the history of the rock. So geology has been my greatest advantage in my transition to geotech.
So like a stepping stone into it.
Yes.
No, that makes sense. That's quite interesting. And then we've got a hand from Ayabonga. I don't know if you have a question. Or I don't know if the hand is just. Do you have a question for Lesego?
Yeah, I do have a question for.
Okay, sure. Go ahead.
Oh, okay, thank you. Greetings to everyone and Ngosi Lesego, the presentation. I just wanted to ask, like, if one wants to become a rock engineering, like, what other route can one take? I expect like going through varsity. Are there any short courses that one can do in the mine to become a rock engineering, especially like doing masters in rock engineering or something? Thank you.
Okay. In South Africa, there is actually a way. I think they want, I can't remember if it's grade 10 or grade 12. And then you need to do the Mineral Council or Chamber of Mines, formerly Chamber of Mines tickets. You start off by doing your strata control ticket. There is a theory paper and there is a practical. And then from there, there is the rock mechanics papers. There are 4 papers in total. Paper 1 and 2 are standard across all mining methods or mining types, whether massive mining, narrow reef mining, yeah. And then the other 3rd paper, it changes or varies depending on what you want your focus to be. If you want to go and work at the platinum, or you want to work in diamond mines, or you want to work in gold, then you choose which paper 3 to write. Then the 4th paper is also a practical paper. So yeah, that's the process to get there. But you need either a grade 10 or grade 12, I can't quite remember.
Oh, thank you.
I'm worried, Priyanka. Why is it only the guys that are asking online? Ladies, come on.
I did. So it was. I hopefully they may be still typing out the long questions. And then Lesego, we got another question from Ase Mahle, who's asked. My question would be, how did you navigate through your career? Have you always wanted to end up as a rock engineer from studying geology? I think you did touch a bit on this in the beginning of your presentation, but I don't know if you want to give us a little more on that.
I'm like every other kid. I was like every other kid. I changed my career ideas every week, every month. Up to a point, I think when I was in varsity, I wanted to do mechanical engineering. So I did Bachelor of Science with the idea that I'm going to do mechanical engineering. And then I missed the opportunity to apply for the degree. At that point, there was no degree mechanical engineering in Botswana. And I was fine with doing a diploma. But fortunately, I got guidance that you can't pass your Bachelor of Science, your BSc, and then go do a diploma. And then that's when I really got career counseling, career guidance, and got given different options on what I potentially have in front of me. And being a diamond kid, I call myself a diamond kid because in Botswana, we get our school paid for from primary school to varsity. So being a diamond kid, it was first the idea that I get the opportunity to be a patriot. I get to pay back. At some point, the major source of income in Botswana was from diamond mining. So I thought, here's the opportunity for me to give back to my country. And that's how I ended up in geology.
That's interesting. And if I can ask, so I know you spoke a lot about, you know, mentorship, and I mean, we at BTG, we strongly feel about that. And when you entered the industry, did you have some sort of mentor or you know, someone that could help you in that transition, you know, from studying and now into the work environment? How was that for you? What was that like?
You guys are lucky. These things have even names and processes laid out. Yes, I'm sure I have conversations with people because I'm the person who says my intelligence lies in that if I don't know, I have to ask. So I have always had conversations with people on the way forward, the possible options, but I'm not sure we called it mentoring. It was some form of guidance. So you guys have the best opportunity that you are coming into the industry and you already know that for me to potentially accelerate and have it a little easier than everyone else, I need to have a sponsor. I need to have a mentor. I need to have a sounding board. Sometimes it's just for me to sit here and listen to you ramble off your ideas. And you're going to find your own solution by yourself because you rambled them off and I keep poking on questions and you arrive at your own answer.
You know, it's quite true, because I do feel like back in the day, I mean, people had that, maybe that manager or overseer, and no one really called it mentor or like mentorship. But now it's like I know it's like a hot topic. I know a lot of people in the industry, you know, they always like, you know, a mentor. It's now become a very, if I can say, popular term. I mean, when Bridge the Gap was started a few years ago, back then, maybe because I wasn't, you know, it was new, I didn't hear much of it. And then now it's like we hear mentor. We see it even like when you go on LinkedIn, people are talking about mentorship within a company, mentorship, you know, between in different ways. So it's quite interesting that now it's becoming the hot thing, and I guess it's finally got that official label, and we can, you know, we can interact more based on that. And it's not that, because sometimes I feel people feel with mentorship, it's I mean, if you don't put the mentorship title, then people feel like, okay, it's a senior, and then it makes it, you know, there's always that barrier of, am I, you know, they superior, or, you know, you feel less than a little bit. But I think with the mentorship label, it's more encouraging to interact that way. Definitely. And then we have a hand from Fortunate. Fortunate, do you have a question for Lesego?
Hello.
Hi. Okay.
Oh, hi. It's not necessarily a question to Lesego. It's actually a question to everybody who can have information. Yeah. So I would really love to do petroleum geology. Yeah. I don't know whether it's an undergrad or postgrad, but I would really love to do that. I don't know here in South Africa, where can I study or where can I find information about that? Does anyone know where can I actually, I don't know, search or whatever?
Personally, from me, I'm not sure. Lesego, have you worked with anyone in the field or know anyone in the field? Or anyone in the conversation here today, do feel free to put up a hand or drop it in the chat so we can help one another out. Okay, I think Fortunate, hopefully someone will pull through for you and will be able to give you some guidance on that. But
Yes.
another.
Sorry, I was
Sorry,
just going to
Felicia.
say, Priyanka, we'll contact Fortunate with the details of somebody. I'm sure we can find someone for her. I have a few people in mind, so I'll be in contact with Fortunate. If you could just maybe privately message me your email address or something. Thanks, Fortunate. And then we have a question from Tato. Please go ahead.
Good evening, Lesego. How are you?
I'm good, Tata.
I'm good, thanks. I just want to find out something. How did you make sure that you kept on pushing, especially back in the days when you knew it was difficult for you? What kept you going? Because you were the first female in the mining industry in Botswana, right?
I always had something to keep me going. I told you I've got 2 kids in varsity. So you can guess I had my kids very early. So they were my number 1 priority. I needed to finish and start taking care of my kids because I felt that's my responsibility. As much as my mom was the caretaker of all 3 of us, I felt it was an unfair burden on her. So that was my number 1, to say, there's nothing that can make me fail except me failing or me stop showing up. So that kept me going. And I love poking the status quo. Remember, the only constant in life is change. So the idea that I was the only woman going underground on a daily basis, most of the time, a cage is what we used to go underground. It's like a lift in a multi-story building in the mall, but it's much, much bigger. Probably can take up to 500 people. And me being the only woman inside there, I did not see it as a deficiency. I saw it as an interesting challenge. And mining is like any other environment or any other family. They are the good and they are the black sheep. But generally, men are respectful when they work with you. So they have carried me with, and encouraged me also because I have energy for days. I've got energy for days. I have worked in a mine where we've got subvertical excavations, like almost 90 degrees. And we use a chain to go up there. And I never said, because I'm a woman. And I know that I can't do because I'm a woman. I can't carry 100 kg, maybe a man can. But when there is no limitation, I did not try to create limitations for myself. I was already working in an environment that is not set up for a woman. So I did not try to box myself in by finding every other issue that will make people go like, why did she come here? So I like pushing boundaries. The only constant in life is change.
Okay, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Lesego. I think that was such a good point. You're very right. You push the boundaries, and I like that. I like all the quotes that are coming through today. I'm very much a fan of them, and so hearing even more, it's like, yes, it's giving me the energy now. No wonder you're so energized. It's from all those quotes.
Yes.
Oh, by the way, I read this other book. It's called the 5 a.m. Club. He says it takes 66 days to lock in a new habit. Whether it's you wanting to start waking up at 5:30, it's going to take you 66 days of continually doing it. So most of the time we don't even fail. We just stop. We give up before it's time.
That's very true. That's actually like a very good point. Because and people need to change that mindset I need to think, you know what, I haven't failed. I just need to try it again and go at it again. Instead, because fail has such a strong connotation to it. People, it can easily dishearten someone.
Priyanka, from my end, just one last question from social media asking Lesego, what is your inspiration?
That's easy. My mom. My mom did, I'm trying to convert to how you guys call it. I think it's grade 9. In Botswana, we call it Form 2. So I think it's grade 9. My mom did grade 9 and she raised us 3 kids all by herself most of the time. Yes, with family support, but, and then I had kids early and she still took them in. She still made me go back. You know, where you broke out of school and she makes you go back to the same school as some kind of black parent punishment. So but I realized later that she was instilling in me that failure is not an option, you know. So my mom is my greatest inspiration.
Okay, thank you so much. Priyanka, Teboho, on your end, you guys have any questions?
I don't know if Teboho has any that she has or would like to ask.
I don't have any question. I just want to say thank you, Lesego, for today. I am honestly inspired and I was a bit emotional during the talk, and thank you so much. And I'll definitely read more books now. Thank you.
Yes, thanks, Lesego. Your talk really did touch us in our hearts today. And from BTG's end, thank you so much. As I mentioned in the beginning, we were so excited the minute we saw your bio coming in, and we're so happy to finally host you today. And I hope that you will be more involved with BTG and that we'll see you again sometime soon.
Definitely. There's
I
a
have
question
one request. I've got an ask. To say before we all log off, can we all unmute and say it loud? I am enough. And it's
I am.
I am enough.
I am enough.
It is possible.
It is
It's
possible.
possible.
It is
I am
possible.
enough.
Everything is possible. It is possible.
I am enough.
thank you.
Hashtag I.
Thanks.
Very worthy.
I think we're a little bit off sync, but it still sounded powerful.
Yes.
I love that. There's just one more question, Lesego. Sorry, you see, we just want to absorb all of your knowledge that snuck in from I just lost it. Oh man. Oh, there was a question saying, in your experience, what chances does a geology graduate have of working as a geotechnical engineer in the construction sector?
Remember your first degree says you are amenable to learning, right?
Mm-hmm.
From experience, the small consulting company that I worked for, yes, we're doing data collection and drilling supervision for MI, but we had other projects, civil projects like foundations, what do you call it, pit trench mapping. So yes, and I think I saw my former colleagues here that do more of civil than rock engineering. I think they are gone, but it's very possible. Your first degree says I am amenable to learning.
Very true, and I like that because we need to remember it just gives us that degree to learn more. Lesego, as Teboho and Bavisha and everyone here, thank you so much for joining us and for sharing all your wisdom and your words of wisdom as well. It was definitely an energizing talk, and even now having everyone say that they're enough and it's possible. You know, you can just everyone is present here and really enjoyed the talk. Thank you so much. And I know today you definitely inspired quite a few people, including me and as Tebogo and Pavisha have mentioned, and the rest of our attendees. So thank you once again. And thank you to everyone else who has joined in to hear what Lesego had to say and to share her journey with us. So yeah, I think we hope that everyone has a good evening. And yeah, take back what Lesego has said today. And, you know, when you're sleeping, just remind yourself of all the words that she said. And yeah, I'm glad we still have comments coming in saying that you've inspired people and they're taking a page out of your book. So thank you so much, Lesego.
Thank you.
A great audience, and it's teacher learns best, right? Humbled
Indeed.
to be the teacher today.
Thanks, Lesego. Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, everyone. We'll see you all at the next talk, which is actually happening next week. So we'll see you there.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.